Excited to open this way. Chicago's one of the two teams in the league that we haven't beaten yet, so it was a good historical moment for us, I guess. And obviously Chicago having the year they had last year, we know they're a quality team. So just really proud of the performance, especially with so many young players getting their first game, in the league. And I thought they all rose to the occasion very well. So Carly was, again, what we expected, fantastic for her. The work she put in probably was one of the games I thought maybe she's worked the hardest for us on both sides of the ball tonight. And I thought Andressa, to me, I thought she just bossed the midfield. I thought she was outstanding in midfield, but overall, just couldn't be more excited about the start.
You have high hopes when the season begins, but could you imagine a performance like this?
Well, I felt. Actually, I could. I mean, I felt we had the ability to do it. Contrary to what I read out there, and I probably need to stop reading other people's, comments and predictions about our teams and where we're going to finish and all that good stuff. But it's a long season. It's one win. It's a great win against a good team, and you need to win at home. But I did feel very much like we could put these kind of performances together. I think the question marks that I had going into the opening game was how would the young players respond now once they're under the lights for the first game, and then the other thing defensively, how would we really respond with that back line? And to be honest, outside of the mistake we made on the goal, where we had a couple opportunities to step and win the ball and it just rolled past us when we misjudged it, I thought the back four and Lydia held up fantastic. I mean, she made a great save when they were up 1 in the first half, and she pulled out of the corner that, if you go down 2, you don't know what the game's going to be like. So I thought defensively we did well. And then the young players did exactly what we've been seeing them do all preseason. They just look like veteran players. I mean, the goal Rachel scored was world-class at any level. I don't care what you're talking about. That's a Ronaldo goal, And so to see that performance and even the changes that we made, the 3 changes that we made were very good. So I thought it was a really good, solid overall performance. There's clearly some things we need to work on. We gave away a few too many corners, and I think there's some things defensively we can still clean up a little bit more, and some movements up front that we want to clean up. But I think you guys can all see there's a lot of potential here with the team. So I wasn't surprised by the performance because I felt it was in us, but I was happy to see that they performed the way I expected them to.
Randy, how big was it to have a real defensive midfielder in there in Amber Brooks, which you didn't have last year, and getting Andressa and Carly Lloyd forward as much as they were?
I think she's going to be kind of an unsung hero through the year. I hope people really recognize the importance that she brings, because you're right, we didn't have it last year, and she just wins everything in there, in the air, on the ground. She's just a defensive monster in there. And what it does, what we didn't have last year, is it allows you to let Carly have more freedom and Andressa to have more freedom. And when we get Morgan Bryan back, Morgan, and it just allows you to do so much more offensively when you've got somebody that's got the discipline to kind of sit in that little space there in front of our center backs and win everything that comes in. So I don't know, I'd have to look on the video, but I don't know how many of the goal kicks and punts and things that she won in the air and how many tackles that she won in there in midfield for. So it's key to have that kind of a player.
Ben? Rory mentioned at halftime he felt his team wasn't keeping up with the pace of the game very well. Mentioned your time in Portland against Seattle and Portland, and how he felt that helped you. Can you expand on that, and how big of a difference you felt it made, especially with those younger players?
Well, I did think they had some trouble in the first half when we really, when we would swing the ball side to side. They had a really difficult time keeping up with us because they play such a compact midfield in there with their 4 and their diamond that, you're making them chase from sideline to sideline. So I felt like the times we did that and really got some good switch of play, that we really were able to create some problems, because then we could overload the flank areas. And I think, Pollyanna was up there all the time in the attack, and Chappie was up there, and then we would have whatever wing player we had out there. So a lot of times we were creating some 2v1s on those outside areas. And I think when you start chasing the game, it's harder mentally on you. You're physically more drained, than when you have it and you're running with the ball. And I think we did gain that experience when we were up in Seattle, getting a chance to play. Those 2 NWSL teams, I think, really had us prepared for this. And I thought, quite frankly, our fitness level looked, higher than theirs at the end, and I think that really helped as well. I thought at the second half we were kind of able to really start to take the wind out of the game once we got the third goal. I mean, we played a lot backwards and all the way back to the goalkeeper, and just were able to, and they lost their way in terms of pressing the ball at that point, and so I thought even physically we were farther along than they were at the end. So credit to the staff for getting us where we are right now.
Preseason, you're working on the center back situation, and most recently it was Moros and Privet. Obviously, you went with Moros tonight, the more experienced player. But can you talk a little bit about the decision of going with her over Privet?
Yeah, I think the thing that we decided to do, and we've had it's close. Excuse me, Hal. It's the competition between Cammie and Ellie and Moros is very close. Cammie could have easily played tonight, and I think she would have done great for us. She's a little bit of a different player because she's taller. I think she would be better in the air than the other two. She's probably a little faster than the other two, but I think she's a young player that's just learning the position. And I think we just felt like as a staff right now with Ellie's experience back there and even Becca's experience that it made more sense, especially against Chicago in this opening game, that we just felt like going with some experience over that inexperience was the way to go to start the game. But I wouldn't have had any hesitation if I didn't think it was working to have put Cammie in there, and she's gonna be great for us in that spot. She'll get her chances and a lot of time back there as well because her progress has been really good over the preseason.
Coach, earlier tonight in this room, it was announced that the NWSL announced that the championship game will be here in Houston. Clearly, I'm sure you want to play in that game, but how much more does that motivate you and the team, knowing that the final is going to be here in October?
Well, I'm not sure how many of the girls actually know that because we were in the locker room when it was released, so I'm sure once they find it out, obviously it'll be huge motivation. I think we've got a long way to go. It's a long season and there's a lot of games left, but certainly to have another goal to shoot for and something else that could really fall your way if you can make it into the playoffs is great motivation for it. And I think it's great for the league because I think just in my opinion, I think we by far have the best stadium in the league. And I think it's going to be a great experience for all the fans in Houston, and a great chance to pack the place for the championship game. So hopefully, we are part of it, but we're not going to look too far ahead. We're just going to enjoy tonight and get back to work on Monday.